Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria and today we're going to be doing my March TBR. So, March. I have a couple of new releases that are going to come out in March, and this TBR was super hard to make because I keep failing at my TBRs. But I really like making TBRs, so even though I a lot of the times don't stick to them, I enjoy making them as just like a little guide of like, let me remember what books that are out there. So we're gonna go with it. But I do have a couple of new releases that I want to get to, that I want to mention, and then I have a few that I hope to get to that have been like on my radar recently, that I'm thinking March is a good time to hopefully get to them. And then I have a few that I have been wanting to read for ages, and I'm hoping by putting on the TBR that I'll actually get to them. And then I do have a couple of reading vlogs planned with TBRs like for them, so I tried to stick to this TBR to be small because I will have other ones that are like absolutely I have to read for videos. So okay, let's start with new releases. So the first new release that is coming out in March that I will be reading, I will actually have an arc of. I don't currently have the arc yet, but I will have an arc of. I'm on Serena Bowen's arc team, and Shenanigans by Serena Bowen comes out on the 15th of March. So I will have an audio arc of this, and I will read it before release. This one is the next book in the Brooklyn Bruisers world, and it follows Bombshells. So in Bombshells, I think it was called Bombshells. I think so. In Bombshells, they introduced the female women's hockey team to the Brooklyn Bruisers, and I think that team was actually just called the Bombshells. But it's a women's hockey team, and I think that in this one, Shenanigans is another one where one from the men's hockey team and one from the women's hockey team are in a relationship. I'm hoping. I really love when both of them are athletes in a sports romance, so I'm really hoping that that's what it is. And I'm pretty sure what I remember from reading the synopsis when Serena first announced it was that it might be a like accidental marriage or like a drunken married in Vegas type situation. I really have no idea. It's Serena Bowen, so I'm gonna read it. But yeah, I'm excited about it, and I will absolutely be reading that in March. Then the next one that comes out in March, I don't remember when it comes out, but that is The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. This is another one that I'll probably have an arc of. I am a member of Katie Robert's Patreon, and she always gives out early e-copies of The Dragon's Bride. I'm not sure if I will get to it before actual release. It depends on how late in March the actual release is, but I do really want to read it in March. This is, as the title suggests, a marriage between a woman and a dragon. And that's all I need. It's Katie Robert and monster romance, and it's going to be great. Then the next one that's a new release is one that in February, there was a day in February where I was just like really feeling the need to read reverse harems, and I am not the usual biggest fan of reverse harems. I don't like contemporary reverse harems, but I have found that paranormal reverse harems really work for me, especially fated mate, like shifter reverse harems, when they like all are the one woman's fated mate. Really love that aspect. And that makes me like reverse harems. But there was one day where I was like reading a whole shit ton of reverse harems, and I ended up reading like 4 or 5 of them. And one of the ones that I read the first 2 in a series, and I was like really vibing with it, which is super odd because it was a high school one. They were set in high school. It was like they were like 17 or 18. So they were really young, which is not something that I'm usually into, but for some reason on this day, this series like really was working for me. So I read the first book and the second book. I think the first one is Spark of Fate, and the second one is something about mating. I don't remember. I'll put the pictures on the screen, but I loved the first 2, and then I wanted to read the third one, And then I went to read the third one on Kindle Unlimited, and it wasn't coming out until March. So I will be reading it, and it's called Bond of Destiny by Tessa Hale, and it comes out on the 23rd of March. So I really want to get this one and finish the series because I have gotten this far and I'm still intrigued, and I really want their HEA because they still, like, because it's a series that all follows the same couple, like, they haven't gotten their, like, the conflict hasn't been reduced yet. And the second one ended on a cliffhanger, which I hate. So I really need book 3. So I will definitely be reading that one. They don't have audiobooks, they're just e-books, but they're quite short. They're like under 300 pages. Okay, I think that's it for the new releases. No, there's one more, but this one is one that's already out on ebook and paperback, but the audiobook releases in March. I don't know when in March because she never said, but on Onley James' Facebook group, she mentioned that the Moonstruck audiobook would be out in March, so I do want to read Moonstruck when it comes out in March. I have mentioned on my channel my thoughts on Necessary Evil series by Onley James multiple times. Didn't like the first one at all, loved the second one. So I'm really intrigued to read the third one and see which one was the outlier. Like, if I loved this one, if I love Moonstruck, then maybe, then obviously the first one was just the outlier, but if I don't like the third one, then Psycho was just the outlier. But either way, I'm intrigued to continue this series. That's one of my favorite things about reading series that follow different couples, is that even if you don't like one of the books, the next one follows a different couple. So it's okay. But I'm really intrigued to read Moonstruck and see, really, like, what's that word? Solidify my thoughts on Onley James, because I like to give authors 3 tries. Then the next one is the first one that's not a new release, and that is Ignite by Melanie Harlow. I have been seeing this one a lot. I know that Tori from Novel Life and Jess from Peaceful Books recently read this one and really enjoyed it. It has a lot of aspects of things that I really like. It's a single parent romance, it's an age gap romance, it's forbidden. I think the guy's a firefighter, so I think they're neighbors too, so all of that sounds right up my alley. I'm really into all of those things, so I definitely want to read this one. I have the audiobook already and I'm really excited to read it. Melanie Harlow is a new author for me. I've seen her mentioned a lot, so I'm hoping that I can find a new author who I love. Then I want to read Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Gessinger. This one also has been on my radar a lot. I have been loving Sophie Lark's Mafia World. I read all of the Brutal Birthright series at this point. I read all of them in like a month, and I've been loving Mafia lately, so I want to read more Mafia romances, and Ruthless Creatures was recommended to me a bunch on my on Facebook and on Instagram, so I really want to read that one. I don't know much about what it's about. I know it's Mafia, I know it's age gap, so that's it. That's all I got. But it sounds like it would be something that I would really love, so I'm excited about it. While mentioning Sophie Lark, I also plan to read The Heir in March. The Heir is the first book in Sophie Lark's Kingmaker series. I finished Brutal Birthright in the first half of February, and I have been like dying to read Kingmakers, but I've been holding myself back because only The Heir is out in audiobook currently, and I will be devastated when I finish The Heir and the next one. I can't read the next one, so I've been trying to hold off as much as I can to read The Heir in hopes that the next Kingmakers audiobooks will come out, because when I messaged Sophie about it, she said that they will all be released soon and like one after the other. So I'm really hoping that they will be released in maybe end of March or sometime in March. I'm hoping, because The Savage by Sophie Lark comes out in March and I can't read it because I haven't read the Kingmaker series yet. So upset. But I will be finally reading The Heir. This is a friends to lovers mafia romance set in like a Hogwarts setting, but like a contemporary Hogwarts type thing, but like a 4-year boarding school type situation. So I am very excited to read it, and I am pretty sure I'm going to absolutely love it. Okay, I think the only other one that I have on my TBR that I'm really hoping to get to is The Culmination of Everything by Christina C. Jones. This one is a exclusive edition with a exclusive cover that came in a Hello Lovely box and that I fucking adore. It's so beautiful. This is a small town romance. Sugar Valley, I'm assuming, is the name of the small town, considering that's the name of the series. But I really love Christina C. Jones. I've read 4 of her books, I believe, and I really want to read more, and I haven't read them in a really long time, so I'm really hoping to get to this one, and it came in this Hello Lovely box, and I have this beautiful copy, so I definitely have to get to it because I don't like having unread physical books on my shelves because I have like none, and I really hate it when I have one that I haven't read, so the fact that it's now on my shelf means that I have to read it now. So I don't know much else about it, just that it's small town. The end of the back of this one doesn't have the synopsis on it. It just says losing everything doesn't have to be the end. Sometimes it's a chance to find something different. So that sounds great to me. And look, it's signed in this beautiful green color. Oh, love that. So that is all the ones that I have on my March TBR. Like I said, it's shorter because I do have, I think, 3 vlogs planned with books I'll have to read in March, so I didn't want to overwhelm myself. But that is it for this video. So please subscribe so you can see me in my next video, and let me know down in the comments below what you will be reading in March. That's it. So I hope you have a great day. Bye.